समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते। I'm sure all of you would agree that we have been on an inspiring journey. We have heard how Mata Sati burned all her doubts and was born as Mata Shailputri. With immense faith in herself and her guru's guidance, she walked on the path of discipline, being brahmacharini, and did powerful and very difficult austerity. As Ma Chandraghanta, she showed us how love is all inclusive and expressing that love is of the supreme importance. As Kushmunda, she showed us how can we be creative in expressing this love. Today, on day 5, we have Mata as Skand Mata. She is the embodiment of leadership. So Anupama ji, waiting to hear the story.
Thank you. Welcome to 5th day of Navashakti. And today we have Skandamata with us. What is the story of Skandamata? Why is mother called Skandamata? Now we have seen that Shivji and Parvati ji, they got married and they were happily living, creatively expressing their love towards each other. And what happened that their days and years were passing in satsang, in talking about the truth, the ultimate reality, and the mind was dwelling in that highest truth and bliss, that they had no other desires as such. So the days were passing, years were passing, and here on the other side, Tarakasur was becoming stronger and stronger. So Devatas got worried because Shivji and Parvatiji's child alone would be able to kill this Asura, Tarakasur. So they got little worried, and when Devatas are worried, they go to Bhagwan. And that is the best part Bhagwan like about Devatas, because in trouble, we generally go to here and there, ask somebody for help, but we ask Bhagwan in the end. But Devatas don't do that. Devatas go first to Bhagwan. Anything happens, go to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji takes that to the Vishnu. So Devatas went to Bhagwan and said, now we need help because Shivji is in meditation as usual and Parvati Ma is also enjoying her own company, but they do not have a child who can kill Tarakasura. So Vishnu Bhagwan said, we can do something, do one thing, send Kamadev. So again, the Kamadev was being sent. Now, Kamadev this time knew that what is the purpose and what you should take care when you are disturbing Shivji in meditation. So he, Kamadev did his magic spells and Shivji opened the third eye. But this time Shivji was aware that Lord Vishnu alone has sent Kamadev. So he opened his third eye and with the sankalpa of having a baby of Parvati ji and Shivji, his own baby. With that sankalpa, he opened the third eye. So 6 sparks came from that eye, the third eye of Shivji. And that 6 sparks which came, Agni Devta immediately flew, taking the form of a bird, and he quickly swallowed all these 6 sparks because they should not fall down. So these 6 sparks were swallowed by this bird, Agni Deva's bird, and he, although he was being Agni Dev, he was not able to handle the heat and the kind of power it had. He was struggling. So he asked Shivji, I did this, swallow this sparks, but I don't know what to do. I mean, what to do? Guide me. And Shivji says that you offer it to Ma Ganga. And then he offers it to Ma Ganga. And then Ganga Ma takes these 6 sparks along with her flow, and she deposits it into the lake, which was in Sharavana. There is a forest, Sharavana. That is where um, she deposits this 6 sparks. Now, this lake had 6 beautiful lotuses, and that each had one spark. And next day morning, a beautiful baby was born in those lotuses. So, Kritika sisters were passing through there, and they saw these babies, and they got so attracted. They got motherly love for these babies, and they nurtured these babies very well. And Shivji and Parvati ji saw this, and they were very happy. They came there. They saw 6 babies, and mother loved those 6 babies. Of course, Parvati ma loved those 6 babies, and she hugs them, and 6 becomes 1. And that's how that 6 has got 6 head. I mean, one has got 6 head, and that is why Kartikeya Swami's name is, one of the name is Shanmukha. So that's how he got this name, Shanmukha. And Shivji was very pleased with Kritika sisters because they took care of these babies. So Shivji also blessed them and gave the boon that now onwards the baby will be known as Kartikeya Swami also. So famously known as Kartikeya Swami is also because of Kritika sisters. So, like this, he got many names. He got named Gangeya because Gangama was carrying him. He got named Skanda because he had big strides. He had named Agneya because Agnidev was carrying him. So he was such a blessed baby who was born out of the sankalpa of Shivji and Parvati. Sometimes we understand Srishti as very creation as very narrow vision. There can be many types of creation. This is sankalpa Srishti, which we also create in our dreams. So nothing, Lord can create anything. If we can create small dream, which is our sankalpa Srishti, Lord can create lot more. So it was just by Sankalpa, Kartikeya Swami was born. Now, the Devatas were very happy. And when Devatas are very happy, they just sprinkle flowers and they dance. So everybody danced, enjoyed that. And Kartikeya Swami was growing. And then came the time when Tarakasur was supposed to be killed. And Kartikeya Swami became the Senapati, the main who would lead that army. That is what Kartikeya Swami was appointed as, and he led the entire army of Devatas, and with a lot of valor, and he was so brave that he killed Tarakasur with not much effort. For him, it was very easy because he was so strong and brave and had a lot of strength. And strength, what was that strength? Now that is the question. What was that valor? Where did that come from? So that valor was from mother. Mother, Skandamata, Parvati Mata, who whose strength he was. She herself is a leader, but now she is creating leader. See, to be a leader is one thing, but to create a leader is another thing. So mother is so loving and caring, and with her powers, she can create the leaders now. So she created leader like Skanda Bhagwan or Kartikeya Swami. So such valorous leader was being created by Ma Parvati. So that is why she is called Skanda Mata, because she is the one who created the baby. Now, if we see this entire story and relate with us, we also belong to mother. We are also his children. We saw that how Mother Kuchmanda made the entire universe, and we all are her children too. So we too have that strength, and we too have that powers, because mother cannot be partial to her child, to children. She is equal. So she has given us equally the same strength which Skanda uh, 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 Kartikeya Swami had. The same strength we also have, the same valor we also have. But when we invoke her blessings, when we surrender to her, that is when we are able to discover this strength within us also. Because we are also of her, we are also her children. So, as Skandamata, she shows that how compassionate, how great she is, that she creates the leader, and we can invoke her blessings in our lives, and we also can lead our life. First of all, lead our own minds, and then once we can lead our minds to the Lord and to the highest truth, ultimate reality, then only we can lead others along with us. So then we don't need to lead, they will automatically be led, and we wouldn't even know probably sometime. So that's how the mother blesses everybody. Without mother's blessing, nothing can be possible. Even in virtual world, our own mothers, their blessing is our strength. And what to talk about the mother of universe? If we invoke her blessings, we can get all that strength which is there already within us, hidden in us. So let us invoke Skandamata's blessing and ask her for the same strength which can lead our minds to the highest, which can lead our minds to the ultimate bliss. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anupama ji, for making us realize that even we might have these qualities in us. Now we will have a presentation from the Chinmay Yuva Kendra.
We belong to a land called Bharata, where women were worshipped, revered, and considered equal to gods, be it the past or the present. We all have been influenced by a lot of women in our lives, directly or indirectly. Let's take a look into the lives of those women whose life has become an example of leadership. Number 1. Anjani Mata. Whether we call Hanumanji as Maruti Nandan or Anjani Putra, we all have loved his character since childhood. Hanumanji received precious lessons such as Seva Bhav, or to serve, not to forget our goals, utilizing our energy on the right things, from his revered mother Anjani Mata. As it is truly said, great children are always raised and nurtured by great mothers, and so is the case here. Number 2. Anandibai Gopal. Married at a young age of 9 and becoming a mother at the age of 14, it was her child's death that triggered Anandibai to do something about the healthcare in India. With her husband's support, she goes abroad to study medicine. She became the first woman of Indian origin to study and graduate with a degree in medicine in US. Number 3. Roshni Naddar. The first woman to lead a listed IT company, she is the chairperson of HCL Technologies. In 2019, she was ranked 54 on the Forbes World's 100 Most Powerful Women's list. Examples like these tell us that leadership is one such feature that can lead a person from dreams to success. May Ma Durga bless us with the great quality of leadership. Hari Om.
Thank you so much. I didn't realize that leadership could be so subtle also. Nothing very dynamic, but just simple actions, and there is something beautiful. So to continue this journey, we have with us a personality who emulates these qualities of leadership in her everyday life. She serves the Indian Army and has been part of the Chinmay family since her childhood. Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Lakshmi S.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Lakshmi. I'm a serving officer of the Indian Army, and I'm currently serving in the Eastern Sector. I'm part of the Logistics Division of the Army. Firstly, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Chinmay Yuva Kendra Ahmedabad and Chinmay Mission Ahmedabad for giving me this opportunity. It is indeed a matter of great pride and honor for me to be participating in this Nav Shakti festival. I would like to give insights on the topic which has been assigned to me, which is leadership. Who is a good leader? What is leadership? Modern management has a plethora of theories and studies conducted on this chapter. We have different types of leadership traits, different types of leadership models which have been studied and evaluated. There are a lot of jargons. We have something called responsibility and ownership-based leadership, where the complete performance of responsibility and ownership of the same lies with the leader. We have other forms of leadership also. To name a few, we have autocratic leadership. Generally, people associate that with the military. We have authentic leadership models, transformational leadership models, inspirational leadership models, level 5 leadership models, etc. But to me, when I have to refer to a manual of leadership, the only manual which I always fall back on is Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita has such profound shlokas on leadership, which not only enables in building us as good leaders, but also enables us to refer back in times of crisis. Today, I would like to quote 2 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita to talk about leadership. The first shloka is from chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Yadyadhacharate shreshtaha tathadevetharo janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. Whatever a great man does, that becomes the standard in a society. And whatever he sets as the standard, that is what other people follow. In other words, what Krishna is propagating as leadership by example. All societies through history, we can always see thrives when they have a great leader, because based on the traits of the leader and the qualities exhibited by the leader, the society gets transformed. In our day-to-day lives, we can see plenty of examples for the same. A teacher would not be able to instill discipline in his or her students till the time she herself or himself follows the same. A parent would not be able to instill values in the child till the parent himself or herself follows the same. We can see examples where one good district commissioner can have a huge impact on the functioning of the complete district. If we have leaders on top who are honest and work with integrity, we soon realize that the same thing follows down the channel as well. In military too, we are taught the same thing. The first thing young cadets who join the Army Training Academies are taught is lead by example. Be there with your troops. And this is what junior leadership in Army is all about. Any operation you see even in the news that it is always led from the front by an officer. Why is it so? Because it is that person who has the capability to transform the thought processes and inspire the people under him to achieve the goals of the organization. And in doing so, the leader also has his own personal growth. He starts developing various different traits and sees complete inner transformation of himself in an endeavor to achieve the goals of the organization, because he is attaching his mind to that higher goal. Keeping that higher goal in mind, whatever are his negative traits, they keep slipping, and he starts developing these positive traits. What are the other traits that a leader requires? Apart from For being an inspiration, the leader requires professional knowledge and competence in his chosen field. If he does not have this professional knowledge or competence, a leader would not be able to arrive at the correct decision. A leader, apart from this, also has to maintain mental equanimity. This is what Krishna says in chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Yasman no dvijate lokaha, lokan no dvijate chayaha, harsha marsha bhayo dvegaihi, mukto yassacha me priyaha. He says, that man is dear to me, who does not get agitated by the world, nor does not agitate the world. He is free from joy, envy, fear, and anxiety. Is it possible even to achieve such a state of mental equanimity and equipoise? Krishna says, yes, it is possible to achieve that state, and it is when you achieve that equanimity that you are at your best. And that is why he says you do not agitate the world at that particular point of time also. Think, whenever you face any situation in any chosen field of work, do you achieve the desired result if you get excited? Do you achieve the desired result if you get angry? Do you achieve the desired result if you get depressed? Or do you achieve the desired result if you train your mind to be calm and cool and collected at that particular point of time? Evaluate the situation in the correct frame of mind and then achieve the desired result. What works? There are so many situations which we face day to day. We see in the sports field, we call MS Dhoni the Captain Cool. Why do we call him Captain Cool? Why was he able to achieve the results which he was? Because in the sports field, when there is tension all around, when you have to make decisions, how do you arrive at the right decisions if you're not cool? How do you achieve that coolness? That exactly is what Krishna says over here as mental equanimity. And that is why in the Bhagavad Gita he says, Samatvam yoga uchyate. What is yoga? Yoga is nothing but achieving this mental equanimity. This is what a good leader has to strive to achieve. If he strives to achieve that, he would definitely achieve success in his chosen field, be it sports, be it any other field. Even at home, as a parent, if you have children, I'm sure there will be times when you face various situations where you tend to get angry with your child. But do you achieve the desired result if you get angry? Or do you achieve better results by maintaining equipoise, equanimity, by freeing yourself of that particular anger or anxiety of what has to be done? So always remember, in life, it is extremely important to achieve the equanimity of mind, to achieve the desired result in your workspace. The most common analogy which is given for this is, never be a thermometer which rises up and down with the changes in temperature. Instead, try to be a thermostat which manages to control that particular temperature. With this, I would like to conclude my talk, and once again thank you all for joining.
That was indeed inspiring, to not be thermometers and to be thermostats. I'll definitely remember that. Thinking of this, she mentioned so many qualities. Anupama ji emphasized the beginning of importance of mother. I think there is something interesting we can do out of all of this. The first person who leads us and whom we follow, maybe even we don't realize that we follow them, are mothers. Why not think of qualities that make up mother So we are going to create an acronym for the word mother. So you can do it with your pen and papers, or you can do it in the chat box and write it. So it's MOTHER. You're going to think of qualities of leadership that you think your mother had or mothers have. So wow, we've got a good idea of what all qualities make up leaders, and we've already heard from Lieutenant Colonel Lakshmi that a lot of qualities and traits make up these leaders. So why not we do a task? So let's create a recipe for leadership. And all of you can keep pouring. I'm sure all of us are enjoy reading everybody's answers. So your task would be to create a recipe for leadership. In this, you will think of all the characters and characteristics. In what quantity? Like any recipe, anything too much or anything too less change the taste. So what, according to you, would be the ideal recipe for a good leader? We will be posting this the whole recipe outline along with characters for you for better understanding. You can create your own unique recipe and post it on any social media platform and tag us by #NavShaktiFest or CM Ahmedabad. And it would be great if you could share all of these so that everybody gets inspired of how a good leader is, what all qualities makes a good leader. We'll be beginning the Q&A session. First question. There is a belief that Lord Brahma created the world. Vishnu Bhagwan sustains it, and Lord Shiva is the regulator and destroyer. Then the story tells that Ma Kushmanda created the world with just a smile. How can we explain this logically to a non-believer?
Okay, to understand this, we need to first of all understand that when we say Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, these are not different forms like what we understand. These are the energy, the same energy, the highest energy in different aspect. It is different aspects of same energy. So Brahmaji means the creative energy. Vishnuji means the maintenance energy. And Shivji means destructive energy. So the same energy is being called in various with various names. Like we are one. But then as I'm with my mother, I'm called daughter. But when I'm with maybe my friend, I'm called friend. I'm the same person, but I'm called variously, differently. So similarly, that same energy is being called Brahmaji, Shivji, and Vishnuji. That we have to first of all understand, because we have a lot of this confusion that so many forms are there, so many. So it is not like that. The same energy is represented, or it is the different aspects of that energy. That is one thing. And also, in that way, anyone can create the world. We also create the world, don't we? In our dreams. Haven't you created your own world in dreams? Tell me, who has created that world? It is we alone, right? Nobody comes up from outside and organize and make the world. So if we can create the world, so in the same way, we should understand this also, that same energy is creating the world. Second thing, very beautiful, is our culture is so amazing that we have been given a choice. We have been given a choice to get connected to this highest energy or this truth or whatever we call ultimate bliss, to connect to that, because it doesn't have form, it doesn't have any attributes. How do I get connected to that? So in order to connect, there are various ways I can get connected. Now, when I want to connect it, would have a choice. When I have a form, I have a choice because each one's minds are different. So I may like Ramji more, you may like Krishna more, and somebody may like Vishnu Bhagwan more, and somebody may like Shivji more. Somebody says, no, 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 I like Devi Ma, that's it. I like her story, I like to see her form. So that is our choice which is given to us. It is like you have any form which you consider as supreme being, that highest energy, ultimate truth, whatever you call, you consider that whatever form you are connected with. So now each form has got its own stories, own Puranas. In fact, Puranas are the text where each deity's entire story, life, everything is explained, his virtues and his how he expresses these virtues in his life. All this is elaborately explained. So, like if I consider Shivji as my Ishtadev, supreme being, and then for me, Shivji is the highest, means he creates the world. Then everyone else is in periphery. But Shivji is the highest. But if you consider Devi Ma is your supreme being, then Devi Ma creates the world. Got it? So something like that, we need to understand that which don't get stuck with the form. Form is a choice for individual to get connected to the highest. And form, stories, there are a few things. The form, name, stories, their resident, and what all they did in their life. These 5 things are woven so beautifully for each of the deity. And that is how we just understand this question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anupama ji. I feel this is the reason. I think, like in the English calendar, we celebrate Mother's Day, Father's Day. I think our Indian culture has been celebrating Mother's Day, Father's Day all through Navratris and all the other festivities, and giving value and to all the relationships also. The next question is, how could Ma Chandraghanta marry Lord Shiva, who is above the material world? Lord Shiva did not take any birth. How did he mix with this world? Was he present physically there?
Okay, the very first thing we need to understand is that whether it happened or not in reality, that is what is our, always we are concerned about that. So whether it happened or not, that's a different question. What is helping us to grow is to know about these things. If these stories are bringing inspiration to me, if these stories are bringing joy to me, if these stories are bringing faith in me and positivity in me, then take that, because there is no debate about it happened or not happened. We can take what is making our lives better. That is one thing. This is how we should look at these stories. Then second thing is Lord can come down to our level. He can come down to our level, although he might be reveling in highest place, but he can come down to our level if he feels there is a need, because he's all compassionate and we are all his children. So he can come down. Third thing is, also this wedding, Shivji and Parvati ji's wedding, was not out of the expectation of pleasure. It was a wedding which was taking place for the samashti, for everybody's benefit. They wanted to kill Tarakasur, and that was the reason that this wedding took place. So we should understand these points, and if we understand this, then it is not very difficult to understand. And last point is, any creation requires the matter and energy both. So there is a matter which is required, and there is an energy also required. So the combination of both alone can have the uh, the combination of plurality possible. Otherwise, plurality is not possible. So that's how we can look at the Shivji and Parvati's wedding. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next question is, how did two sides of one from material world and one above it marry?
Sorry.
How did two sides, there are two different sides, one is from the material world and one is from above. How did they marry?
I think this is the same thing what I explained last, that matter and energy. Without the combination of matter and energy, nothing is possible. So I think it is the same question.
Yes, it is similar, but I thought if you would want to elaborate on it more.
I think we are running out of time also.
Okay. So, but then we do have two questions. So, Sai ji, if you would like to ask right now, you can please unmute yourself and ask. Shruti ji. Okay, I'll ask on her behalf. She's asked, how does one progress spiritually every single day?
As we have been seeing mother's stories, and from there we saw that how she did the austerity. So like that, if we take up small books with the intention of growing spiritually, then slowly we can grow. That is one thing. Second, what all the scriptures and all the experienced people guide us to have satsang. Satsang means to have company of like-minded people, spiritual people who are walking the path, so that we can get encouragement, we can get more clarity about the path, and we get company also. So the being in the good company, the spiritual company, is the best way to start off if we haven't started, and that is the best way. Now, if we don't have people like that around, we can have books. There are many books written by great people, so we can have books also. We can have their talks, or I mean, in any ways, try to be with the good company. Satsang is the first way we can start off, and taking small vows to grow. That also helps, because uh, that's how one starts the journey. And last is Lord's name. If nothing comes to you, just take Bhagwan's name. That is the simplest way if it suits you.
Thank you so much, Anubhav. The last question we'll take for today is from Rathi ji. Would you like to ask your question? Or should I ask? Okay, so the question is that he felt there is still confusion of who is supreme.
Who is supreme? Supreme is only one, the one who has created all of us, one from whom the world has come and from where the world is going to go. So that supreme, I can choose that supreme to be Krishna. You can choose that supreme to be Shivji. Depends on your choice. The forms, you have a choice. Okay, so you can get connected to that supreme through whichever form, but supreme is one only. That energy, whatever we call ultimate truth, reality, through whom we have come. Because if we see the world, there has to be a cause, right? In the world, we don't see anything which doesn't have a cause. Everything we see has got some cause. So similarly, we also see the world, so there has to be some cause which is beyond our understanding, because I haven't created the world, you haven't created the world, we all have not created the world. So who has created? It can't be accidentally. So that source or energy, whatever we call ultimate truth, from which the world has come, we have come, that is the causeless cause, supreme being, when we say that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll be ending the Q&A here. And so now we will invoke the blessings of Mata Skand Mata to help us realize and recognize the leader in us. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matra Rupena Samstata नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम्। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्।